Welcome to Wapato Lake National Wildlife Refuge. That woman in black actually came out of the park. I was genuinely stunned to see any users in this park. Thank you, Big Rig. Yeah, doggies. How's that for a reference? Very dead, he says, inside. It's a vault toilet. It looks like somebody or some set of people, for some reason, every single time they come here and use it, have really nasty diarrhea. Don't know why. Anyway, here's the barking and the beast, and here we go. Of course, this is the town of Gaston right here. As you can see, Gaston Supermarket. Jokingly, consistently referred to as a spot on the road. And it kind of is from here on 47, but it technically isn't. It's a little more than that. And they're unfortunately developing a bunch back over here. We've tried to come here before. Last September, it's currently obviously September now. You can see the sign that says, I can't even tell where the sign is there. Chehalem Ridge Nature Park is what the brown sign says. So apparently Metro is better about signage than the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, who manages refuges, which is a pain in the ass. Because last year I tried to get here, and this park's been here now for, I think, since 2016 or 2017. And they've slowly been expanding it over time. And they claim on the website that it's very easy to access because along 47, coming from Forest Grove, Northway, down here, it's well signed for. It's not. I don't know if you remember last year in September, I put on the screen the video I'm referencing. That's why that drive even happened, along with the following video, which was Chehalem Ridge Nature Park, because I couldn't find this place for the life of me. Everything online as of last year and even early this year is unclear. There's nothing about, what if this is actually bedding down areas? If so, then that means that this has been bedded down either by deer or elk. And it's equally possible. It could be either, more likely deer, but they're so big. You can see like kind of the outline of each bed. Like that's one. That would be another. This would be another. So I think like it's still like more likely deer, especially with those little islands over there, if it is an actual bedding site. I interrupted myself. But yeah. It's just like extremely unclear. Like you cannot for the life of you find online, even on the official website for Wapato Lake National Wildlife Refuge, which you're technically in right now. You cannot for the life of you find how to get here. Like nothing's clear on that front at all, and it's really frustrating. I drove around this property like two or three different times, and I can't even remember exactly how I figured out, probably just via my usual map obsessions, where the hell the entrance was. And apparently it's off of Onion Lane. So literally, if you're coming from the metro area or north, like say Sunset Highway, it's literally 47, which is this road. You take one left off of it if you're coming from the north again, otherwise the right, obviously from the south. And it's Onion Lane. It's like basically almost an immediate right afterward, as you can actually tell. So, cicadas. Most people hate cicadas. I love the sound of cicadas personally, even in mass, and especially when they're bound to like crickets and grasshoppers singing. Oh, it's one of my favorite evening sounds. Is it ash in there, I think, or is that a wild rose? I don't see teeth on those leaves, so it's probably an ash. Well, it's rather small for an ash. It's growing canes like a rose, so actually I think those are wild roses. Yeah, they are. I see the thorns now. It's wild roses. A bunch of hips on them. It's cool. So the rest of this is really well flattened and bedded down too, weirdly, so that suggests more likely actually an elk herd, I would say. Someone's trying to get to the post office, so they're holding up traffic. You wouldn't expect that. Pedestrian only bridge. Weight limit 1 ton. It's 2,000 pounds. So you can actually sort of see over here Wapato Creek. You'll obviously be able to see it as we cross over it, but this is actually technically over here. Yeah, there's actually a lot of wild roses. Look at this. Probably wild, Oregon wild prairie rose. But it's hard to say. They're all over throughout here. All the roses. Oh my goodness, that's so cool. But you can actually see over here. It's a big son of a gun. The Tualatin River comes through here too, so this could actually be the river, but I don't think it is. But really cool. Considering the amount of roses all throughout here, when trying to come back, again, I think it's just a classic case of this was actually originally like, again, a farmstead, and then it actually turned into this. I'm sure you're not supposed to actually go off trail, obviously, but it's been done so many times, as you can tell. The footpath to the creek/river. From my understanding from the maps, looking at them, this is actually Wapato Creek. Now, naturally, the cool history about this lake and creek is that something right there is that historically, I actually saw something move right there too, wherever that movement is. So yeah, there is something right there. I don't think it's fish, but it could be. I might have just seen 2 fish right there. And over there. Just because they're kind of hanging out by the surface. It both makes me think it is and isn't a fish. It's a damselfly right there. Cool. So the cool history about it is that this whole part of the valley right here that we're actually on the property of was originally naturally a lake, which is really cool. I actually find this interesting. If you actually look at the flow of the water, it's heading south, which it naturally shouldn't, because the mouth of it and the confluence of the Tualatin's up north. So for some reason the flow right now is actually heading in reverse direction. It's actually heading to the south rather than the north, and naturally it would head to the north. It finally did a big flop there. Yeah, that's more likely actually muskrats. In fact, that looks like a big draw, so there probably is a den right there. Muskrats are adorable. This used to be one big lake, and it was actually a permanent lake. It wasn't just a wetland. But of course, most of the Tualatin Willamette Valley is actually just filled in impacted wetlands for agriculture and or, of course, for urban development and sprawl, unfortunately, and freeways and highways and roads and you name it. So, it's an unfortunate truth. But yeah, it used to be one big lake here, permanent, not just wetland. Of course, it's surrounded by seasonal wetland areas, but yeah. It looks very dark, but it is actually trampled down at the same time, which I find interesting. But the reason why I mention that is because I know that the Fish and Wildlife Service at their refuges does controlled burns in different patches and areas of their parks. So, yeah, there you go, no trespassing. But it's only shown right there, which I find to be hilarious. It's an interesting one. And obviously in wildlife refuges, you're not typically allowed to fly drones, nor are you typically allowed to fish, obviously, or hunt or anything like that. Because of course, it's to protect wildlife, not just the landscapes. Douglas spirea. I think that's what that is. It's very faded out though, so it's way past season. I mean, you can tell the rest of them are all dead. They're all brown. I'm actually curious what this normally looks like at water levels most of the time this time of year. Because what I do know about this is that the floodplain of the Tualatin watershed is wildly vast. I mean, it is just immense. It floods so consistently, and this year has been no exception to that. Even now on Google Earth, which is always usually about, I'd say like 3 or 4 months on average behind live time for like a lot of these areas around here. It still currently shows a lot of the flooding that happened right in here throughout all this area and north as like a marshy wetland right now. It's like still really wet because this whole year has been incredibly wet compared to what we have been getting recently. So it is a beautiful thing. I'm definitely going the long way around. I probably should go both ways because it takes no time at all to do that. Some of the wetland, because over here, of course, you can see the trail kind of acts like a dike. This is all. I got to get used to camera angles because they're never what they should be. I'm actually where I point it is never where it actually is showing. It's really annoying. I've never understood that about the different cameras I've used. This is obviously my phone, but yeah, I see it acts like a dike. This is all probably like willow and other related things for marshland again. I just loaded with it. There's actually a raptor nest on the little raptor nesting site right here. It's pretty cool. There's an actual nest up there. But all of this down in this little gully was a natural lake, and it was, most of its body was year-round. But I actually have footage from earlier this year. I believe it was late March, going almost into April. It might have been early March, but like the amount of flooding there was along the Jackson Bottom wetlands area was astounding. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was as far as the eye could see, was nothing but just deep water. Anyway, I'm actually going to go this way first, and then we're going to go the other way. And I'm going to stop talking for the rest of this, and maybe do a voiceover later, so. sure what the heck he is. He's a very waspy looking pollinator, apparently. I know I've identified these before. These are in the aster family. I don't remember exactly what they are though. John, is that you? John? John Jacob Astor? Looks like a lacewing? I definitely think that's a lacewing, isn't it? The camera doesn't want to focus on him because he blends in so well. I'm pretty sure it's a lacewing. Look at all these little holes. They're just in the ground, right? But look at them made into the, get it there, there we go. Dug into the grass. And if you look close enough, you can actually see the continuation of some of them. Like this one here is that one there, I think. So probably a bunch of mice and obviously snakes as well. There's actually one hidden right in there. That's actually a clever place because I almost missed it. Another way one can actually potentially better navigate to this park here in Gaston, the Gaston area, is to try to navigate to this city park right here. Because, or even the fire station, because that'll make it way easier to get to. I think my goal for today is to try to spot a grasshopper. Like, there's one in there, but usually there would be in that kind of a tangle. Because I would love to capture a grasshopper up close. Grasshoppers are, oh, there's a bunch of them over right here too. They're tough to spot because they blend in obviously so well. Little bird! Little ladybird. I don't know how well she's focusing, but look at her. Ladybird, or ladybird beetle. Also, of course, what we call them in the US is ladybugs. Yeah, on their hind legs, grasshoppers have these teeth on them, and you wouldn't necessarily expect them to be rock hard, but they are some of the strongest barbs you will ever encounter. They suck. I've accidentally stepped on one time, barbs directly into the foot, and they did not break out, and he actually got stuck. He got stuck inside of my foot. It was not fun. Oh, there's so many grasshoppers that were just like right here in front of me. Oh no. They are really skittish, ain't they? There he goes. I'm surprised how skittish they are. Another damselfly. This is a thorned plant. I don't like it. There he is. The blue doesn't want to focus on him properly, unfortunately. Holy crap. Hello. How are you doing? Jeez, if you were not paying attention, that'd be a fun one. This is burdock. Old aged burdock. Super medicinal. There's a lot of poop here. I know dogs aren't allowed, but some of this is clearly dog poop. Go figure. Dogs aren't allowed because, again, it's a wildlife and nature refuge. And that would very much disturb a lot. Potentially cause more issues. By the way, just thought I'd mention, there's a strong difference between a contrail and a chemtrail. Contrails disappear. They evaporate very, very quickly. Very quickly. Whereas chemtrails do not. You notice right here on the bottom edge of these clouds, down here. Actually might be this set of clouds. It is, I think, yeah. So, bottom edge of this set of clouds. If you notice, there is actually a remnant of a chemtrail there. You can actually see it because it's following from about there down through there. You can actually see the line. That's why it's a chemtrail, because it expands. It doesn't actually dissipate, it expands. There's another chemtrail right over here. You can pick it out of the crowd. And likelihood is each of these wisps of clouds, as you can tell by like this one at the top here, that's obviously from a chemtrail as well. It's likely this one that we've been focusing on here, one of these ones. Each of these wisps are from chemtrails. That right here, as you can see, is a chemtrail and mixed in with I can't remember the high cloud term for those right now for some reason, but that's a chemtrail. And then you can tell it's a chemtrail again because it's remaining and it's expanding into its own set of clouds. It's expanding slowly. There's little wisps of it over there. And see, they can start and stop at any time. Stop. Start, stop. Because the chemtrails are there for things like weather manipulation, among other things. they could use it for. That anything basically that's vapor based. There is a difference. Yes, obviously contrails are real as well. That's just exhaust. Vapor, it dissipates very, very quickly. But chemtrails do not dissipate. They expand and they remain for a long period of time. And obviously this seems to be the end of it, possibly. Either that or it really does end up here. But yeah. Hey, I should put a bench here. Oh. Let's see some of the lake. Still just marshland. Because they got to try to do their best to put as much money and effort into restoring this back to where it historically was. That's why rewilding is great. Like, conservation's okay. But there's infinitely better ways to do things than conservation. One of them is obviously rewilding. And another one, even better, I think it's personally the most superior form of helping the environment and ecosystems return. And that is non-interventionist or minimal interventionist wildland restoration. Restoration should always be the key, not conservationism, not the other stuff. Conservationism has its place, so does rewilding. And with true restoration efforts, rewilding is an inevitability always. And it's going to take so much money, time, and effort to really help this thing get back to an actual consistent lake. You're going to just see an egret over there. No egrets. See that white thing right there? That's an egret. I have no egrets. I'm trying to get out of the like, keep my shadow off of it while still being able to showcase this. So you can see plenty more. And you can tell just how long that I take whenever I do these kind of trips, even by myself without recording. I take forever because I'm somebody who's always stopping to take pictures of film. So you might actually be somewhat curious to wonder, like, why isn't the park bigger? Well, actually probably nobody's wondering that. But for those of you that are familiar with the efforts to have made this refuge, it's been a really, really difficult and very long effort-loading process. And the reason why, of course, as you'd probably expect in the US, is the landowners. The landowners in the area, mainly, of course, the farmers, the agricultural folks, do not want to sell their land for any amount of money to the government in order to then, of course, make this refuge become even bigger. This park should not look like this. It shouldn't be this small, it shouldn't be that shape. If it was at its full size, it'd go quite a ways further south. It'd even be able to go a little further up against and abut the actual highway. And of course it would go further southeast and due east. So of course naturally that's exactly why this park looks the way it does currently. And ever since it opened officially, I believe again in 2017, this park has stayed the same amount of land. It's stayed exactly the same the whole time. And again, it's because ever since then, and that means it's been a long time. It's been 6 years, going on 7, I believe. Or is it 7 years? I think it's 7 years. 6 or 7 years, going on 7 or 8 years straight, where they have not been able to succeed in any efforts to try to get any of the local landowners in the area to sell them even a single slight small portion of their land if they allow it to be parceled out. And I completely understand it, but at the same time, that does suck quite a bit. Because I'd like to see this at the full extent and the full size. That'd be awesome. That's a weird-ass siren. That's a wacky ass siren. Really wacky. There it is. It's one of the fire trucks, huh? Really? It's a tanker. Do you see it? That is a fish. It's not muskrats. Those are fish. Those have been fish that are just like casually hanging out right at the surface. So what we saw in the beginning was actually trout. It was fish. These trout right here are some big fish. There's 2 of them down in here. I realized it as they were moving. I'm like, those are not muskrats. Those are trout. Holy crap. So in Wapato Creek, apparently they adore hanging out right underneath the sticks. That's so interesting. With floating barges of sticks, apparently. You can see other little areas where they clearly are at. Those little pangs on the surface. Of course, the moment I start filming is when they stop showing up underneath these sticks at the surface. What? I don't have polarized lenses. I really wish I did. Because I'd be able to see these guys and spot them way easier and quicker. I might have gotten a grasshopper, like my original goal was. And if so, I'm going to take that as a good sign that I'll be able to capture a trout. Some of these trout, for sure. So many grasshoppers. Oh my goodness. Do you see him? Look at him. Look at the grasshopper. You know what I could have done if I did actually do what I normally do and brought my No-Bro waterproof case? I could have actually, at the start, I could have literally just set it in the water near where those fish were, if not right at there, that spot. Just so I could record it, or I could even set it right at the water edge and tilt it down a little bit. And I guarantee you would have caught trout. I would have caught the trout I'm talking about that I thought were muskrats. But kind of like, yeah, can you see what I'm talking about? This thing right here, it looks like a fishtail. It literally looks like a fishtail. Even looks like it has like a little bit of a wear and tear on the tip of it. And it could be a dead fish. Usually, though, with dead trout especially, I've noticed, they just automatically float. So I don't think necessarily that is that, but there's a chance. It really does look like a fishtail though, doesn't it? Doesn't that? Yeah, it is a fishtail, look at it. If so, that is a dead fish. It looks bigger right now on camera than it actually does to me in person, but I think that might actually genuinely be a fishtail. We might have spotted our first fish, but it's a dead fish. Well, I really want to continue, and I could on my own. I just couldn't record the video because it'll get too dark, but I really want to be able to continue going through the park, because there's literally 2.6 miles, 2 miles more south that I could go down, but it's getting dark pretty fast, especially with them cloud covers coming in. So I think unfortunately I'm gonna have to end my trek here today. You can still see all this movement by the way over there. That's literally where it turns out it wasn't muskrats, those fish were at. So I'm gonna see if I can sneak up on those fuckers, on the suckers, and see if we can't spot them while we still have a little bit of light. Waving to the aircraft. They actually see better than you think they do from afar. And you wave, a lot of times pilots actually enjoy waving back, so you never know. Definitely gonna have to come back again and actually go full park mode. I am so bad with this shit, dude. I'm so bad with control when it comes down to just not stopping every 2 seconds. Ooh, shiny coin. Ooh. Ooh, fish. Ooh, flower. Ooh, plant. Ooh. Ooh. weird. These are grass carp though, for sure. So what I've been seeing has not been trout, it's been grass carp, I think. Although the backs are so dark on some of these fish I've seen that I swear they had to be rainbows. Over here now. Look at their eyes. Can you see them? It's so cool to be able to see their scales and their eyes and the full thing. Giant freaking goldfish. Look at all these gnats. I don't even know if you can see them. Big cloud of gnats. I'm kind of glad I took this, I missed the turn I was supposed to take for Spring Hill Drive. Speaking of. Womp. But, this is why. Like, what? I'm gonna take a page out of Tom Cassell's book, / Ken Cassell. Would you just look at that view? It just, seriously though, like what, the unreal. Absolutely freaking unreal view between the two Oregon white oaks. Are you kidding? What? This is incredible, just looking at it, like, because the sun is just glowing directly onto the hillsides and everything. Incredible. Absolutely ridiculous off its head, off its rocker. Wha-bam! This, look at this. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah.